It's a Mel Pardue design. For those of you who care about names, there's the signature. So the pro is, or the pros are that it really is comfortable. You don't need to stab and jab things. I mean, it'll do a good job at that anyway, but anyway, I'm telling you the theory of the design. All right, my friends, welcome to Rugged Outdoors Guide. Today we are reviewing a knife. I used to have a website where that's all I did, or a YouTube channel, and now that's not all I do. I do a whole bunch of other things you guys already know, but I love to do reviews on knives when I get the chance. Now the one that I have today is from Benchmade, that's the company, and it's called a Griptilian. The reason I have it is because it is a classic. Now there are many classic knives out there from a lot of really good manufacturers. This is on par with any of the classics. It really is. It's talked about more than most other knives in the world of knife collecting, especially everyday carry, folding knives. So the bad news is that this particular model of the Benchmade Griptilian that I'm going to show you in a second is discontinued, but only because of all the features that it has. There are so many other Griptilian models that are not discontinued, and there's just so many. They just come with so many options, and so oh man, from the way it opens, like the thumb studs, or just you know, a thumb hole, the blade design and shape, the coating on the blade, the handles themselves. The list goes on and on about the options that you can have on Griptilians. That's actually a lot more than you can have on most other knives. So that's kind of cool. It's also good that you'll have a huge variety of choices when it comes to buying a Griptilian, even though some models have been discontinued. So there is a link below where you can take a look at it. I don't get any money if you follow those links. I'm just telling you just because I'm a nice guy. All right, so let's get into the review of the Benchmade Griptilian pocket knife. Okay, so here's the box that it came in, and you know, it's a fairly modest looking box, but actually inside it's very cool. It's got a really neat foam liner, and then look, the knife is in a little packet, a little bag. Inside there is a use and care manual, and some more stuff in there. It talks about access, which is the lock. We'll get to that in a second. So that's the box, and then the knife itself. All right, so this particular model that I have, well, that was a pathetic opening. Let's try that again. There we go. This particular model is a sheep's foot blade, which means, you see how it goes like this, and then it really goes down like a drop point at the nose, but it's more than a drop point. And it really is meant for you to, or the use for this is that you really don't need a point, whatever that is. You're looking for a cutting tool. You don't need to stab and jab things. I mean, it'll do a good job at that anyway, but anyway, I'm telling you the theory of the design, all right? You don't really need a point. So the steel itself on the blade is 154 cm, and that's denoted right up here, and that is a US made hard stainless steel, and it wears really well. The shape of the blade actually is a hollow grind. So in our last review we talked about a flat grind, which from the top right here of the blade to the cutting edge, a flat grind would just go straight down. But this one doesn't. This one's flat, and then it goes in a little bit, and then kind of it's just called the grind. There's different grinds. A lot of the blades have different shapes. Some of them are straight across, and then they do go down. They do taper, but it's just a flat taper. And then there's other ones that have a curve on the taper. So anyway, this is called a hollow grind, for those of you who care. The black is very cool. Again, we love knives that have the look where the clip and the blade is all black. And there's different coatings that you can have on it. This one is called a Cerakote black coating. And it's really just a polymer ceramic compound that is supposed to really improve the wear of the blade over time. Now, as you can see, this one is pretty new, and so I haven't really used it a lot, and I don't want to. I kind of like it. It's like a collector's item for me. So the locking mechanism is, see, it won't shut because it has the axis locking mechanism, which is accessible well, you kind of got to use, well, you don't really have to use both. I always use both my thumb and forefinger, but you don't have to. You can just use either your thumb or your forefinger to unlock it. So it's very well made and it's ambidextrous, of course, being this design. It has a dual thumb hole opener. So again, dual as in it can be used for both sides. I kind of like the hole. My Spyderco has that as well. I've got a couple of Spydercos that have that hole instead of a thumb stud. It's not a big issue for me, but it's a little slightly more of a minimalist design. You see, there's no thumb studs that stick out on the sides. So that's one thing that's a plus for me. The handle, or the scales, is another word for it on both sides. This happens to be GTX. Actually, they call it a Normal GTX handle. And there's a couple of designs you can choose from. That's one of them, the GTX. And there are actually a couple more. I don't even know what, but it doesn't really matter. There's so many options everywhere. I'm just telling you what this one is. Inside these are called scales on both sides. Like this is the handle that I'm grabbing right here. But on both sides, like it's a two-part handle. And so they're called scales. And you can buy all this stuff separately. You can go to Amazon and you can buy new scales. So you have a whole new handle for this particular knife. Actually, I'll leave the links in the description below. But inside these, like between, you can't really see anything in here, but in between the two scales where the blade goes when it shuts, there are double stainless steel liners. So that's a good thing. And also, when it comes to how you carry this knife, it's a reversible tip-up pocket clip. So it's reversible in that you can put it on either side here. All right, you just unscrew it and rescrew it. So that's good. And there's no screws inside under the clip, so you can clip it on any, pants, whether they're thick or thin, it'll work for all of them. So that's another good thing. It's a Mel Pardue design. For those of you who care about names, there's the signature. It says Mel Pardue. And apparently he's really famous. I used to, I talked a bit about him on my other channel, but anyway, there are lots of well-known designers, and this is one of the best. There's lots of jimping on this. So jimping, for those of you who don't know, along the top there are some grooves, raised edges, and a lot of the times it's just along the top of the blade, and it's meant for your thumb to just have a better grip. Right, which is a good thing, but this one has it not only on the blade, on the top of the blade, but it's got it all down here, all this silver stuff, that's jimping too. So if you're using it for, really, whatever, with wood carving, or you're cutting your game, skinning carcass or whatever, you're not going to slip. Well, you got a pretty aggressive design on the handle itself, on the scales, and on the top. It's not going to slip anywhere. Most knives you'd be good with anyway, but this one even more so, I think. All right, so when this knife is fully open like it is now, right from the tip to the very, very back, it's 8.07 inches in length. And the blade itself, this section right here, is 3.45 inches. And the weight, the total weight of this particular model anyway, is 3.8 ounces. That's pretty decent. I've reviewed a few knives recently that are closer to 5 ounces. They're pretty beefy, and some of them even more than that. So I'm good with the weight of 3.8 ounces. You're looking at a little over $100 if you're looking to buy this, whether it's at Blade HQ or any other high quality blade retailer, knife retailer. I've seen them recently, $145, something like that. So not super cheap, but also not in the realm of some others that are hundreds of dollars and even more. Scary. All right, so let's talk about some pros and cons. So the pro is, or the pros are that it really is comfortable. The width of this, the handle is actually more, or it's wider than a lot of knives. And the pro to that is that it's just a really, really comfortable knife to hold. There's no question about that. It's also, here's a pro, it's just really good looking. I think it is. I think it's just a really, really sharp looking knife. Haha, sharp looking. I also like the fact that the clip is a pretty decent design. It'll fit any pants. And I've had issues with other clips before, and that's why I mentioned that. And it's thin. And I also like that when you fold it up and put it in your pocket, it's pretty unobtrusive in that you've got a black clip, and so it doesn't look immediately. If somebody glances down there, it's not quite as immediately visible that you're carrying a knife. It's just a little more, I guess, camouflage against your clothing, especially, of course, if you're wearing dark clothing. So I just like the look of it and a good function in the clip. There are some cons, and one of the cons is that it's funny because it's exactly what some people would consider a pro, and it has to do with the thickness of the handle that I just mentioned. So for me, I'm a little more of a minimalist, and so I like knives that have a very small handle, a handle that is just adequate, and then something more of a substantial blade. That's just me, because I don't want to really feel this bulky thing in my pocket. So I would say that can be a real negative, is the idea that it's a fairly thick, beefy handle. Also, the clip, as I just said something nice about the clip, and there are some good things about the clip. The one thing I don't like about the clip is that it's not a deep pocket carry clip. That would be a clip that would come up to right to the very end here, and it would kind of loop around, so that when you put this in your pocket, pretty much the whole blade disappears, or sorry, the whole handle disappears. In this case, you can only go up to right about there, and you've got about close to an inch that is necessarily going to be sticking out of your pocket, just because the clip doesn't allow for you to push it any deeper. So that, yeah, well, it's a minor thing, but I listed that as a con. And one of the other things that I just mentioned earlier is that this particular model with these particular features that I just told you, showed you, is discontinued. But as I mentioned, there are a lot of other Griptilian models on the market that are still available from high quality retailers. All right, my friends, thank you so much for joining me for that Griptilian knife review. It really is one of my favorite knives. I hardly want to use the thing because I like it so much. I just like looking at it and touching it and feeling it. It's one of my collector's knives. Guys, we're going to be coming up with a whole lot of other videos. We're coming up with a couple a week right now. And if you do like reviews on knives like this, please tell me. Let me know. Give me your feedback. Tell me if you would like me to do more reviews, what products you would like me to review. I might be able to do some right away. Others, maybe not. I can get a sponsor or something like that. Who knows? But I will work on it because I take your thoughts and your comments seriously. I really do. I love what I do, but I also want to do something that's valuable for you guys. So please do give me your feedback. By the way, do you have a Griptilian? Do you like it? Do you not like it so much? Please do let me know. Give me any feedback you have. I'm curious to know, because this one is discontinued, but I know others are not. And I'm curious to know, maybe you have one that is maybe not. I don't know. So let me know your thoughts. And guys, we're working on some really new stuff for our YouTube channel where if you would like, you could be a monthly partner with us for like $2 or $3 a month, and you can get a couple of little perks that are only available to you. And we'll have some details coming out very shortly with that. My son and I are working on some of those right now. I mention that just to say, guys, that I don't make any money on YouTube. I would like to. Who wouldn't? But I don't make any money. So what you can do is, if you want to show me some love, you can go to our Buy Me a Coffee page that's in the link below, and on your screen as well. You can just use your QR code and scan that right there. You can kind of see what that's all about, and you can donate to us, like just a few bucks as well. I appreciate anything that you can do with that respect on that front. And guys, you can also check us out on Instagram. All right, we are posting there daily, so you can kind of see what we're up to there. And there's just a lot of, I'm trying to come up with some unique ideas on there, and a variety of things that I can post on there. So anyways, guys, thank you again for joining me on this review. And do give me a like and a subscribe at the very least, right? I mean, it's the least you can do. It doesn't cost anything, right? And guys, you know what I'm going to say, right? Please don't be offended. I mean this from my heart. I mean this as a blessing to you guys, as a good thing. and that is to get out there, enjoy God's creation, and above all, keep on looking up.